Hi you guys, how's it going? So for today's video, I'm actually going to be repairing one of my pants that I have just because I need to do that. But I'm also going to just be talking story with you guys, just kind of talking about maybe what happened this past week or whatever topics I'm going to talk about. I'm still not sure yet, but we'll see what pops up. So the thing that's wrong with my pants is that there's a seam at like the pocket where the pocket meets the pants that's kind of being undone, so I'm gonna have to sew it back together so that it doesn't fall apart. So let's go ahead and do that. But I have, this is Coats and Clark. This is Coats and Clark string thread. Oh my gosh, this is Coats and Clark thread, and it's the upholstery kind just because it is thicker and more durable, and I don't want to just hem with regular thread because it won't stay as well. So let me go ahead and cut a good chunk. I usually just eyeball this and then grab my sewing needle. But this past week and weekend has been pretty amazing because, as you guys know, in my past video I did talk about vision, and funny enough, when I went to church on Sunday we talked about vision, and my global pastor, he was going off about like how this is the week of the Feast of Tabernacles and you have visions, and your vision should be something also where like you visualize what blessings you would like to see, and you know what kind of changes you would be looking to make in your life that would better your life. And it was interesting because I mentioned before in my previous video about visions that I had mentioned that there were some people that needed to go in my life that weren't going to come with me in the next season of my life. So that's definitely a change that I needed to make, and I have been praying on it and have been allowing God to, speak to me through that vision, and it's worked out. So there's definitely some, like, for those who may not believe, it's hard to say that this is coincidence, because a lot of the times God doesn't do that. God is not a coincidence. He makes everything purposeful, makes everything happen. So it's very, very cool to see that happen in my life. And if you don't see it in your life, that's okay. Maybe you just need to, maybe you're just not ready to receive those blessings yet, or maybe he just speaks to you in different ways. And for me, it was through visions for sure. But I've heard people of having different experiences, like some people, they'll like be spoken through the Bible, because that's what they read every day. They're always in the Bible and reading scriptures and whatnot. Or it could be through how I was before. I saw a YouTube video, which was at the time something where I was always on YouTube a lot. So obviously he's going to speak to me through something I'm on all the time. Like, he's not going to go and speak through me through visions when I haven't even, when I'm not aware about it at the time. So it's the same for you. So if you ever struggle with that, don't worry about it. Like, you just have to be able to be still and listen. And that's been another difficult thing for me to do sometimes, because a lot of the times we're living in a culture where you have to constantly be doing something. And even right now, as I'm making a video, I'm also sewing a pair of pants. But you have to be able to be able to sit still. You can't just be constantly doing something, constantly putting a movie in the background while you do something, or this is definitely a time where it's good to be still, especially in this culture. It's good to be still and to listen. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I personally have struggled with it because we're, like I said, a culture where we don't sit still. We're always a hustle. We have to work all the time. We have to be doing something all the time because that's how we're meaningful. That's how we have purpose. But it's not the truth. You actually can do nothing but still have purpose. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is you have purpose no matter what, but it's up to you on choosing when to rest, choosing when to be purposeful. And it's the same as minimalism, the ideal that you do things with meaning, and you don't just do things because you want to do them or because you're bored. You do things because it's meaningful to you. So that's why, shopping all the time, that's not meaningful unless you have to shop for something like a special occasion. But if you're just continuously going out and shopping or continuously going out and eating and, trying to do these things just to fill your life because you're bored, that's something that you need to look into. And don't get me wrong, I'm still working on that. This is why I'm talking about it, but it's something that we need to understand as the culture today, because if not, we're going to be running ourselves to the ground. And then we're going to be teaching the next generation to do that, and then they're going to be teaching the next generation, and it's just going to be a whole cycle. So we need to be able to fix that, address that right now, and embrace the slow living. Slow living is actually such a good lifestyle to have, because a lot of the times we let life pass by so quickly. And I don't know if you guys are the same, but there's always sometimes YouTube puts on my feed interviews with older people, and a lot of the older people, they mentioned that the thing that they regretted as throughout their lifetime was not enjoying and living life, especially when they were young. Because when you're young, you don't have kids, most of us, but now it's the culture, right, to have kids when you're young and to be married when you're young. But at their time, to be young, you didn't have kids, you weren't married, you weren't tied down, you could literally go travel on your own, go backpack in Europe or whatever they do, but you could literally just do your own thing. And a lot of people now, especially our generation, and this is including me, but I definitely don't travel as much, and this includes me and this includes me in that generation, but I don't have kids, I'm not married. But a lot of the people I knew in high school, they are married, they are they have a family, they have kids, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But when you also look at most of those families that are like that, they always think oh, well, we could have done this, but now we have to accommodate for another child, and we have to accommodate for 2 children, or have to accommodate for my husband and his job and whatnot. And, there's a lot of factors to it, but it's important to understand that you need to be able to live while you're young, not just when you have money or when you get older, because money comes and goes. You could have money when you're older and you could not, and yet you're still waiting because you told yourself that if you worked hard when you're young, that you'd be able to have the money to go and travel whenever you wanted to. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it's not like that. So be able to just live while you can right now, and definitely don't spend all your savings and all that stuff, but be able to do what you want while you can. And I remember interviewing my grandma one time about that, and she was like, yep, that's the biggest thing you can do for yourself, is be able to allow yourself to do what you want to do, and in a safe sense and responsible sense. Don't go out and do drugs and be a prostitute and whatever, but go and just go travel, go on multiple dates, but don't engage in that hookup culture. That's just my opinion, because that also is part of our society now, part of the young generations. That's what they think is normal, which definitely is not normal and not healthy. So if you are like that and you're sleeping around, please stop that and figure out why you think that's okay. Because if you can figure out why that's okay, then you can address the actual issue, because you're just using that as a coping mechanism. Truth. And I say that only because I was part of that culture for like 3 months. And it wasn't the best. You don't respect yourself when you do that. You don't respect the other person, and you don't respect like your ability to love. You don't understand that. Like, you have to look at if is it a commitment issue. Do you have a problem with committing to one person? Do you have a problem with socializing with a person? Do you have a problem with connecting with people? Have you not been confident enough to be able to do that? Like, because you're comfortable with just a one-night stand where they won't remember you, or with just a friends with benefits where there's nothing serious. But a lot of the times those relationships do turn serious and someone ends up getting hurt. So why would you put yourself through that when you could just be in a regular relationship? But it's definitely something to look at. And yes, I talk about these topics because it is very prominent in our culture today. And also, I am a social worker, so I deal with people of all ages, and especially the younger people I can see need the most help, surprisingly enough. And they need better role models, they need better lifestyle, and overall just culture. They need a better culture environment. And it's up to us who are kind of sitting in the middle, like who are young adults, like we're in our 20s. Those are the people if you're within your 20s, you should be the one that's standing up and being able to address and teach these young kids and be a great role model to them. And they'll be able to turn out way better than us, and that's all you can hope for. You want them to be better than us, right? So if you could, please be able to do that. Okay, so hi, I'm back again. My DJI just died, so I finished my pants outside, and then I came back inside to charge it, and then here I am now. So I'm done with this. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I promise the next video will be really good. I'm gonna do a little sit down talk again, but probably in that same background setting, because it's really beautiful. But just because I ran out of battery, I'll make sure I don't. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and you guys like this really weird talk story video that I recorded today. But anyways, I post every Tuesday and Friday, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!